Welcome to Postgame on the Pitch. For the Seattle Sounders, they are through to the Western Conference Finals for the second consecutive year. It's a 2-0 victory over the Vancouver Whitecaps in the second leg of the Western Conference semifinals. Welcome to Postgame on the Pitch. My name is Jackson Phelps of Sports Radio 950 KJR. For Postgame on the Pitch, I am joined by Andrew Harvey of Sportspress Northwest, also the voice of S2 Soccer, and Mazvita Maraire of CascadiaSports.net. We are back together, guys. Maz, you couldn't make it up to BC Place. That was a 0-0 draw up there, but in the second leg, the Sounders get it done, back to the Western Conference Finals.
You know, listen, that was the goal when they set out at the beginning of the year. They sat down on Media Day and said, our goal is to go back and push for another MLS Cup. And you got to get through the conference semis and the conference finals to get there, and they managed it.
Maz, how'd they do it?
Dempsey delight. Obviously, Clint Dempsey gets the 2 goals, but as we talked about, for me, it was a play of the midfield. Whether they were controlling the ball, that's Lodeiro, that's Rodan, that's Ship. They're controlling the ball, and when they weren't, they were coming back to help the back line with Fry, Veedham, and Jones that were all there. Midfield was the key for me today.
And Lodeiro dropping down as we've seen him do late in the season here, where he's playing more of a defensive role. He had a tough game offensively, Maz, but on that defensive end is where he really allowed the Sounders to both keep only 1 shot on goal for Vancouver, and then eventually in the second half you get the offense rolling. But really kind of the defense end where Lodeiro made that difference.
Well, Jackson, I think though on offense he was creating space. We're used to having him with the ball, but I think today he really was creating the space, and we saw that with Clint being way more self-expressed. Just like Rodan, you really didn't see a lot of Rodan in it, but he put a lot of work marking and also creating space, which is part of the game, Harvey, right? Creating space in soccer.
Absolutely. No, look, Nicolas Lodeiro draws attention no matter where he is on the pitch. And when he drops further back, especially since he has the pace to move upfield, if you give him room, he's going to draw more of that midfield, which is going to create more space for Clint Dempsey. It's one of the reasons I said I really liked that move initially when they first dropped Lodeiro back. At the time, it was out of necessity. I wouldn't expect to see that look going forward if Gustav Svensson or Osvaldo Alonso is healthy enough to go 90 minutes. But it's nice to know you have that in your back pocket if things go wrong.
Do you want to switch what you're doing right now?
Absolutely. Listen, I would take this team with Nicolas Lodeiro further up the pitch and Osvaldo Alonso next to Christian Roldan 10 days out of 10.
Okay. All right.
That's
fair. I'll give you that. I mean,
Andrew's talking about the guys who, in terms of injuries plaguing them right now. We know from Brian Schmetzer, he had an interview with Dave Softy Muller on KJR yesterday, said Jordan Morris will be back for the conference finals. It's a 19-day break, so it's a lot of time to get healthy now for Gustav Svensson, who came off the bench today, Ozzy Alonso, who didn't even appear in the 18 with the quad still injured, and then Morris back. Victor Rodriguez was able to come off the bench, so maybe you see him start. A lot of time, Andrew, for this team to get healthy.
It is. It's a lot of time. Now, mind you, you're going to lose some players out on international duty.
That's true.
You have to go out there, and right, that's the big equalizer. Every time a guy leaves on national duty, you get a little bit worried because things are a little bit more high tempo there. But again, that's an uncontrollable. As Brian Schmetzer would say, the Sounders are going to control the controllables. They're going to get the guys who are staying put good rest, get them healthy, and see if they can get close to a first choice starting 11 for that last 3-game push to maybe repeating as MLS Cup champs.
And Maz, one of the things that when the lineups came out today, I saw Harry Ship starting out there on the wing, and I was a little bit worried personally. I was up in the press box freaking out. You were trying to tell me to calm the hell down. And, for the second straight start for him in a playoff matchup, suddenly the confidence that he can start in there and be more than sufficient there as a starter, that confidence is only raising. So if something wild does happen and he has to go again, suddenly not as worried, maybe?
Yeah, and Andrew, you were right there. I mean, we were talking to him just in the locker room, and you could see that he was beat up. It took a lot of pounding. But really, I think his offensive skill is underrated because he talked about the pass to Dempsey. He said he was almost going to take a shot, and he said he saw Dempsey coming through. I really think his intelligence and his ball skills are really underrated. That is Ship in what he brings to the Sounders. I really do.
One thing I wanted to hit personally, my big point, my Clint Dempsey man of the match, 2 goals, of course. Nouhou for me, guys.
His boy.
That's what it is. Listen, Nouhou is a guy that I've been on just with the raw potential that he has. I was worried also seeing him start at left back, and he had just an absolutely exceptional game, I felt like. His ability to shut down whoever it was on that left side, You know, and then you saw Alphonso Davies come in for Vancouver. You know, that was going to be a speed versus speed thing with Davies also having, you know, really good ball skills. And Nouhou did a great job on him. And Nouhou did a great job all night, I felt like. And while Jovan Jones went out with, was it hamstring? Hamstring,
just tightening.
So we'll see about that. That's another thing, you know, that Sounders have to be wary of that Spencer talked about. But Nouhou at left back, just I felt did an exceptional job. As we talked about, 19-day break between now and the Western Finals. Houston versus Portland on Sunday in Portland. That second leg, are we rooting for one team?
No, not really. I mean, if anything goes, you'd like to play Houston. You'd like to have the second leg at home. Just because, you know, again, something then is more of what you can control. As the lights are getting shut off.
Yeah, the lights are going
I like
down.
Portland. I like the food trucks. I like to drive.
Lights are going out here on Postgame on the pitch. Man, Sounders to the Western Conference Finals for a second consecutive year. Man, we're going to be back at CenturyLink, whether it's the 21st or the 30th, which will be the second leg of the Western Finals. And then will come MLS Cup. We don't know where that's going to be. Columbus, Toronto, New York, wherever it ends up being.
Seattle. Could be Seattle.
Well, the Red Bulls have to pull off a miracle.
That's right.
But listen, Sounders have a chance to repeat, and it's only going to get more difficult from here, guys. We'll be back in 19 days for another Postgame on the pitch. Mazvita, Maraire, Cascadia, Sports.net, Andrew Harvey of Sportspress Northwest, Jackson Phelps of Sports Radio 950 KGR. It's playoff time. Sounders are through to the Western Conference Finals. Join us in 19 days. Thanks for watching.